Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Lone Wolf Challenge. In the last episode, Daylily became the mother to the guards of the jungle, or perhaps more commonly known as Comet Champions. They're the creatures here who are going to focus on strength to keep the heart of the tribe safe. All of the creatures who would be a little bit too busy picking berries for Vankir, somebody has to make sure that no tragedies befall them, like the same tragedy that affected Daylily's family. Hers was all but torn apart by the bear hyenas. Though it wasn't all bad. She did find her brand new bear hyena love in the end, and the two of them have come together to start this mission. Akio is actually the very first result, and thanks to his big ears, his bear hyena claw, he is going to be an excellent addition to the jungle. Not to mention that purr snout of his. That means he should be able to heal us even when we're far away from the healing fruits. Though with the amount of healing fruits that we have on this island, I think it would be pretty hard not to stumble into one of these things. We just have to make sure that they're easily accessible, because that was where Daylily's family began to struggle. But she's now returned to the place of her childhood home. She's actually hoping to show it to her son. Maybe it would give him a better understanding of what his mission truly means. What it means to keep the family safe, and what it means to heal them too. But it looks as if his father has caught the attention of Mulberry. I'm not sure if Mulberry's misfortune works for the bear hyenas, but I sure wouldn't want to find out. Hopefully he'll be able to escape the swarm before it causes him any trouble, and we might even want Akio to mention it to his mother. So let's have him go ahead and pick up the last of his berries here, and then we'll have him scoot right to her side. Oh, was the Crabbit spy on you? Oh my gosh, that is so unnerving. Why is there a little Crabbit standing right next to your nest? I wonder if maybe they are actually spying on our guards. Do you think the Crabbits are trying to find a way to overthrow the bear hyenas? Interesting. They always seem to be quite smitten with Bandersnatch, but that's because of his grand peacock tail. He also doesn't have a trace of bear hyena genes inside him, so I guess they wouldn't be too suspicious of our little platypus. You know, I wonder if you would actually follow them too? I mean, we have this Crabbit saying hello to Taku all the way up in the heart of our grasslands. That is a long way for one Crabbit to travel, and Bandersnatch might even see it as a guide. He already thinks that he may have fallen out of the good graces of Vankir, because during the harvest, he wasn't able to collect very many berries. He found this brand new berry bush, but at the time, it had been completely devoured by those pesky bunnies on the shore. So since he wasn't able to collect Vankir any of his favorite snacks, he wonders if maybe misfortune is in his future, and he knows he has to try harder to please the god of the harvest. So what better way than by setting off on his own? Maybe going after the Crabbits and seeing if they lead him toward any of those juicy berry bushes. It's probably for the best that he abandons this one, because it is very clearly claimed by the bunnies at this point. So let's see if we can work his way through the darkness. With those short-sighted eyes, it is going to be a little bit difficult. But I wonder if maybe Taku could help light up his way? He would stay right here next to the berries. And in fact, the roots might actually make a better meal. He strikes me as being far too lazy to go on any adventures, so any food he finds has to be close to home. Taku is a bit of an older creature anyways. He's already lived his life, he's lived the adventure. Now he just wants to settle down in some cozy, comfy nest and eat all day long. So he definitely has the spirit of Vankir in him too. But that means he would be more than likely to send Bandersnatch on his way. No arguments from him. You do whatever you want, little guy, but I am staying right here. I guess he could at the very least promise to send the message on to Daylily, just in case she's expecting that he's going to be here protecting them from the dark. He wouldn't want any more misfortune to befall their family just because he decided to stray a little bit too far. We will have to be careful though, as he sniffs around looking for some berry bushes to eat from, some berry bushes to collect for Vankir. It is going to be difficult once he makes his way into the jungles. It's not as though the platypus beak is very good at smelling. So that might actually be where Daisy comes in. She's out here studying both of these fruits. She knows there has to be some connection, but she hasn't quite cracked it just yet. With her big nose, though, she can smell for miles, and she knows there are plenty of dangers waiting here. So I guess if she ever does catch a whiff of our little platypus, she might be willing to lend him a hand too. She already knows how difficult it can be to pin down these pesky birds. And actually, I think Paisley and Bandersnatch are related, right? Yeah, they both have the same mother, okay. Different fathers, but I guess she gave us a lot of birds. Well, Paisley doesn't have any energy to lick off the stinky juices right now, but it might be in our best interest to gather up a couple of these fruits nonetheless. We'll have her stay right here. It's not as though she could go very far anyways. One wrong move and you guys are goners. We have to be very, very careful about where you set up next. So let's go ahead and skip the day. We'll go back to our little Berryena family, where the Crabbits are still eyeing you dangerously from the shadows. Does that not look like the most menacing thing? Those giant pincers just looming beside them? Seriously, I think Crabbit Kingdom might be coming for your throne. You better watch your back, Akio. It looks like our Berryena's feeling a bit better too. In fact, it looks like he might be nosing around Bandersnatch. Did you hear about his plans to leave? I wonder if the Berryena is feeling a little bit nervous about his mission, or if perhaps he's giving Bandersnatch his blessing. Well, either way, it's not like he's going to be swayed. He knows he has to please Vankir one way or another. So it's probably not worth smelling through the grass as we go. If we use our hearing sense, we can at least hear if there are any little bunnies skittering around, any little guardian moles keeping watch. These creatures have actually done a pretty good job of leading us toward important things. I mean, we have literally 2 moles right here next to our home base, so maybe we do want to go in this direction after all. Something tells me there's probably some berry bushes right here, but of course those are going to be picked clean. Maybe that means we wouldn't want to follow the bunnies? Like, would there be any point to following them? If we do find their food source, every last berry is going to be gone anyways. Now as for you, Taku, I think it's probably time that you search out some roots. It looks like there's actually some out in the darkness over here. Ooh, interesting. Would you be willing to brave the darkness? That's the area where he came from. Yeah, I don't know. He might just want to come down here to where everybody else is, because it looks like there are plenty of nests for him to laze in. That's the main thing. As long as he can be comfy and cozy as he eats to his heart's content, then he is doing just fine. It kind of looks like he might be blocked in, though. The Crabbit won't let him move this way, the Berryena won't let him move over here, and he's even sitting in the shadow of the bluebird. Geez, maybe we should give you a little bit more time to rest then. I guess he's not so up to moving as we thought. Now before we move anybody else over here, we should probably just check to make sure that no new dangers have spawned in the jungle in the meantime. I didn't hear anything spawn out here, and it looks like it's all okay, but wanderers can be very, very sneaky. I wonder if anyone is out there watching them from the sidelines. And speaking of which, let's actually have Daylily come on over here and pick up this grass over the Crabbit. I think it's about time that we revealed him to the rest of the tribe. Maybe he'll decide to move on if he knows that we know he's there. It's clear that he's trying to gain some sort of information on us. Akio, I suppose you could come down here? You could be the one to gather these berries? Oh my gosh, an actual invasion? Oh, this is not good. Daylily, maybe you do want to have another baby with your mate? We could probably use a few more Berryena claws around here if we want to take out these Crabbits once and for all. For now, we'll move her over here, because I think there were a couple of fruits that she could dig up. That reveals Mulberry's misfortune to us too. It looks as though it may have stayed in this tile. I guess the Berryenas are immune to Mulberry's ways, but I suppose that makes sense. Mulberry never had any sway over the Berryenas, so maybe that means good things for our guard as well. You know, I do vaguely remember that Jay actually had the stinky tail. I think he was carrying it in full, but because he had the spiky body, it never showed up on him. So that must mean that there's the potential for our babies to be born with a stinky tail too. Even Akio seems to be carrying it in his inactive traits. It makes me wish that we could see what our Bergina is carrying, because sometimes they have some pretty strange tales in their traits too. I guess we'll just have to cross our fingers and see. And as for you, Taku, it's pretty clear to me that you're not going anywhere on this turn, so just go ahead and pick up all of these berries, and next time we'll see if we can find you some of those delicious roots. Now let's go back to the jungles, and we'll make sure that Paisley licks off all of those stinky juices right away. Oh, only one turn that time? Oh, interesting. So it seems like when we let it go overnight, the stinky juices lose their effectiveness. I wonder if that means in 2 days' time if the debuff would go away by itself. But I guess since there are no more fruits for you to pick, maybe we could have you come up to the other side of the tree? This carnivorous plant isn't quite as hostile as the other one, so if you slide very, very carefully around the perimeter... Oh my goodness. There's another carnivorous plant right there, and there's a Crabbit in the dark that seems to be trying to steal one of these healing fruits. So the Crabbit invasion has made it to these shores as well? That can't be a good sign, Daisy. I feel like she'd be a little bit too nervous to try to crack these open herself. That's probably a job better left to Paisley. So instead, let's have her scoot over here and sniff around one more time, just to see what else might be waiting in the darkness. It looks like there's really not that much in this stretch, but that's still a lot of ground for Bandersnatch to cover. Maybe these two can cross paths right in the middle? I'm not sure that there are any more stinky fruit trees out there, but I just want to make sure that he makes it to this land safely. We don't want him getting eaten by any carnivorous plants along the way. So we should be ready to skip the turn again? Let's zoom out this time as far as we can. That way we'll be able to keep track of everybody on the island. Ooh. Look at all these Crabbits that passed away. Oh, I wonder if that was the friendly Bergina's influence. He did not take kindly to the spying, but it also makes me wonder if maybe there is some deeper connection to these healing fruits. I mean, this Crabbit passed away right next to one too. Do you think maybe the entire Crabbit kingdom has fallen under some sort of plague? Oh, maybe this is all some sort of misunderstanding? I wonder if they're so interested in Akio because he has the purse now, so they figure he might be able to heal their wounds. Very, very mysterious, and too bad Bandersnatch is so far away. He won't be able to communicate between the two groups. He is far too invested in finding Vankir's treasure, and it looks like he finally found a berry bush. Not even one that he can pick from, though. Oh, that's a little bit disappointing, but it is directly underneath the swamp trees, so I guess you can't be too surprised now, can you? Ah, there's a berry bush, right next to tons of roots too. Honestly, no wonder Taku came from this direction. That was probably his home out here. I wonder if he would turn back then, just to grab a few of his personal belongings, and by that I mean the roots, of course. We could have him try his best to carve his way through the grasses, and on the next turn he should have plenty of roots to take back to the tribe. Or at least plenty of roots to munch up on his own, I guess. Daylily, you should probably gather up this root too. This Crabbit plague probably has you quite concerned. Oh, and here come the leeches, another invader from the ocean. It seems to me this tribe is having more trouble with the water than anything else here. Well, as Akio goes ahead and picks up his berries, he'll probably notice quite quickly that his mother is under attack. We could have him scoot over to this side so he can pick that off of her, though he is awfully close to the source of Mulberry's misfortune. I wonder if he's the next creature who's going to fall under its curse. That would send Daylily into a panic, I'm sure, and she's going to have to find her Bergina love, too. He's all alone in the darkness now? Oh, that can't possibly be good for him. Akio is all grown up, so I suppose we could always make use of this nest again. To be honest, I'm not sure if she would ever use her childhood home again. It's important to her, but I can't imagine she'd want to raise her family there, so she might have to find a different place after all. Now back to you two again, our adventurous duo. Oh my gosh, even this Crabbit passed away? Oh, they're has to be some sort of plague in the water. I wonder how Splash must feel. Maybe our next challenge could even be to help him end the sickness. Well, for now, let's make sure that we can get Paisley over to the carnivorous plant safely. And right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We can bring you up here, but then you'll only have one more turn to crack the plant open. That must have been you, Mr. Bluebird. Yeah, looks like it probably picked up the Dodomingo meat that was inside the nest. You know, that's not that bad, though. We did say that we are going to leave behind all of the meat that we collect. The bunnies, the Dodomingos, and the Crabbits, too. So while our friendly Berryina will probably scoop most of that up right now, the birds will also play a really big hand in keeping our area tidy. And with those startling, shrieking noises, it would probably scare away quite a few predators as well. So this might actually play to our advantage. Maybe the guards are even using the meat to lure the bluebirds out from hiding, so they'll form this protective ring around the tribe. A plan that I'm sure Paisley would very much approve of, being a little bird herself. So since we only have one more turn to work with, let's use it on the stinky fruits. You'll only be able to lick off a little bit of the juice, but at least it's better than nothing. She's probably only staying away from this carnivorous plant because Daisy is so paranoid. She can tell that there's definitely something off about these. So you're going to have to be quite sneaky if you want to get your taste of that fruit. Only the most adventurous birds can harvest the red plants. Now let's skip the day again, and then we're going to bring Daylily straight over to the Berryina. Thankfully, Mulberry's misfortune has pretty much stayed in this single swampland tile. It kind of makes me leery to move our creatures through it. I wonder if that would only disturb the swarm. But we have to get to our Berryina somehow. Daylily won't leave him alone any longer. So as Akio very valiantly fights off the swarm, let's see if he can sense his father. Oh, but wait a second. Oh, our little peacock tail has actually attracted an admirer of his own. Little Tanu, were you just as amazed by his grand appearance? Well, look at his traits. He has the nimble fingers and the claw as well. Ooh, and he's even carrying the scorpion tail. Would he be a good match for Paisley? G and H. Let's just check. Oh no, she has the H gene too? Oh, that is such a bummer. I mean, I guess we could risk it, but at the same time, we don't really want a ton of our creatures ending up sick. I guess the silver lining too is that we do have so many healing fruits around here, so maybe it wouldn't even be a problem. It's not as though we're going to run out of medicine anytime soon. We just have to make sure that we don't risk any major plagues like the Crabbits. I wonder if this in particular may have been a warning to Paisley. Well, first things first, we have to make sure that we invite little Tanu. We'll have you go ahead and offer up a little bit of the food that you found, and maybe he could even help guide you too. His eyesight is so much better. He looks like a little Dalmatian. A spiky Dalmatian, mind you, but he is super, super cute. I love all those tiny spots on his ears. Yeah, I think he's going to make a fine addition to the tribe. Those spots will even help him blend into the jungles once we get there. Oh, and the big nose. The big nose is even more important. Oh, he probably showed up so he could help you smell deep into the darkness, huh? I wonder if he was even hanging around here looking to grab some berries himself. I suppose we could have him scoot over to the side and grab up each and every last morsel with his nimble fingers. I guess a bunny must have gotten to this after all. Oh yeah, there are tons of rabbits out here too. Good thing Tanu's around to show you where they are. These two actually make a pretty good team. Oh no, I don't think there's a single berry left on this bush either. Oh, how disappointing, Bandersnatch. Time after time again, it seems you're fated to run into these devoured bushes. Well, you've just about made your way into the jungle now. In fact, this is our very first jungle tree standing in your way. We're going to have to be particularly careful. Maybe you two could even investigate the trees that you pass, just to see if they might spawn any apes on us. Not Taku, though. He wants absolutely nothing to do with that sort of life. Let's bring him on over here so he should be able to pick up some of his roots. And I guess we'll have him scoot behind the rock too. This must be where he stored all of his most valuable treasures, marking them off with a stone so he wouldn't lose track of them. And now, Akio, now let's see if you can find your father. We'll have you listen with those big ears of yours. No, I don't see him anywhere. Oh no, where could he have run off to? Let's have Akio jump up this way. Ah, there he is. Good, you guys didn't lose track of him after all. He must just be out here looking for some more bunnies to collect, but we are losing time for your family to grow. So fingers crossed that bug swarm will be gone on the next turn, because we don't want to risk setting up our brand new mother right next to Mulberry's misfortune. Now, as we go ahead and have Daisy grab a couple more of those stinky fruits, we'll have Paisley use one of her turns to lick off the juices. But then the second turn is going to go straight to this plant, so she can finally crack this thing open. Now, these fruits are unlike anything that Daisy has ever seen before, and it probably has her quite curious too. Though I'm sure she would scold this reckless bird at first. Paisley doesn't seem to understand the concept of danger. Well, if you're gonna be so reckless, you might as well at least reap the rewards. So let's have Paisley grab her very first fistful of plants. That's actually not that bad either. She has a pretty good collecting skill. I think that should be a 4 in collecting, thanks to her bird beak on top of it too. So honestly, we should probably set her up next to one of the berry bushes, but she's going to have to find the perfect one to build her home. Probably one of the poison berry bushes if we can find them this far. And Daisy must just be shaking her head right now. Well, since you don't really have that much food to collect out here, let's have you scoot a little bit deeper into the grasses. Ah, and you found us our very first pile of mud, it seems. That might at least help you wash away the scent of those stinky fruits. Let's have her go ahead and clear this thing out. That way they'll be able to access it more easily in the future. And that's bringing our two groups closer than ever before. I wonder if she would even take advantage of the mud, so our little spotty Dalmatian wouldn't be able to sense her. I mean, if she knows that she has such a reckless partner, she also knows that she has to be particularly stealthy. She might have to bail Paisley out of some sticky situations before all of this is done. So let's go ahead and skip the day again, but we'll watch where our friendly Bearina goes this time. That way we should be able to catch up to him, and hopefully we can set up you with another nest soon. Just in case, though, I am going to sniff around, since we just had a wanderer spawn. I wonder if they're more likely to spawn right around Bandersnatch just because of that peacock tail. It does give him a little bit of attractiveness, and it's clear that it's working, so he might just be our one to watch. Now let's go ahead and send Daylily into the darkness. Oh, there's another berry bush back here too. Oh, maybe you could use that one instead? Let's bring you right over to it. That way we can check and make sure that it's nice and full. It looks like there are plenty of berries on that bush. Well, hopefully you'll be able to breed with the Bearina on this turn. Oh no, it looks like it's going to take a couple more tries. I hope you won't decide to go too far then. Maybe we should have Akio go ahead and clear out the grasses just in case. That connects this new place to the healing fruit anyways, and I guess this is kind of like their town square in a way. The one healing fruit in their territory. I guess that means all of the food collecting is going to be left up to you, Taku. With some of your last days too, though I can't imagine that you would want to spend them anyway else. We'll have you sneak up this way as well. Just grab those extra cheeky little roots in the darkness, and then you're going to turn right back. Actually, it looks like you could have an even bigger meal over here. And it also looks as if our friendly Bearina may have actually caught one of the bunnies. Yeah, he was pretty clearly trying to make this area safe for his family too. He doesn't want any of those bunnies getting to those berries. He might not follow Vankir's ways, but he sure does understand and support his mate. So I guess we would have to set Bandersnatch right here if we wanted to investigate this tree. And it looks like that one is as safe as can be. We can't interact with it at all. So if we have you clear out this weed, I think we should be able to bring Tanu up to this tile. Oh, and because of that spiky body, he's cursed just like Jay was. He's getting a little bit too hot out here. Well, it's a good thing there isn't too much farther left to travel. and you two will be nice and cool by the beaches. It makes me wish that the mud piles would actually help us cool our creatures down. Some animals do actually use mud to keep themselves cool, so it'd be nice if that buff worked for temperatures too. But at the very least, it should help Daisy slink quietly through the grasses, because she must have heard a little bit of commotion off in the darkness by now. She's used to hearing bunnies hopping around, but this is different. This is much larger, so she's not about to take any chances. But how surprised will she be to see that giant peacock tail when Bandersnatch is the one to stumble out from the darkness? She would probably be able to see him in an instant. I'd imagine with that bright golden glowing fur, that mask that he's wearing, he's not exactly the sneakiest individual. In fact, his camouflage is actually pretty poor. I guess the only question left is whether or not Daisy is going to accept them. But given the fact that they both bear those big strong claws, actually they might both have the same amount of strength on them. Yeah, thanks to that spiky body yet again. If only he had the ram horns, then he would be a serious force to be reckoned with. So maybe they could use these boys to keep them safe, especially if Paisley is going to continue being so reckless. And with all these fruits around them, it's not as though they don't have plenty to share. So as Paisley gathers up the last of those fruits, and maybe clears out a little bit of the grasses around here too, she might be setting them up for a very alarming situation. Her recklessness might truly harm our tribe if it ends up growing back with a taste for our creatures next. And so close to that stinky fruit tree too. I wonder if Daisy herself would be the one to stumble into that trap. Well, hopefully all will be well in the next episode, and maybe our two warriors could even help us get rid of the more hostile plants in our midst too. Bandersnatch was trained as one of Comet's champions, and with his own father known as a knight in shining armor of the jungle, it's clear that he has a lot to live up to. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!